Jah gave me all the strength I need to make it through this world I was born in. Rastafari is my peace of mind. Jah, thank you for your love and kindness, for every drop of air I breathe, and for waking me up this morning. And when I'm trotting in the streets today, please, Jah, Jah, never leave my side. And every day the same prayer I say, and I'm saying
Hello,
it
hello,
one more
hello. Good
time.
afternoon, everyone. Just want to thank you for joining us. For those of you who are here on time, we're going to give others a few minutes to come on and then we're going to get started. It is currently a minute after 6. So we're going to start at about 3 past 6, right? Just giving persons some more time to get online. Um, this is reggae month, so we just felt like we could entertain you a little bit with some reggae music because this is, February, and that's how we celebrate here at MSBM.
Friends will deceive you badly. I learned that Rastafari is my family. So when I'm trotting in the streets today, please, Jah, Jah, never leave my side. And every day the same prayer I say, and I'm saying it to one more time. When I'm trotting in the streets, I pray, I'm begging you, please, never let I oh, Jah, Jah.
Don't you? Inna me going out and inna me coming in, please watch over I. Protect my family when I no localize. When chatting through these streets, keep my focus right, no oversight. A battlefield, this life is so much life. But with you as my guide and shield, any pain I man feel, time will heal, yeah. It's a joy to know it's sign and seal. Confident in the victory. Anytime you see the naughty
Trotting in the streets today, please, Jah, Jah, never leave my side. And every day the same prayer I say, and I'm saying it to one more time. When I'm trotting in the streets, I pray, Jah, Jah, never left I and I. Oh, Jah, Jah, please.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome this evening to Masters Talk. My name is Camille Sinclair, and I am the marketing coordinator for the Mona School of Business and Management. Now, this evening, we're going to give you an opportunity to hear a little bit about two programs in particular, the computer-based management information systems and the logistics and supply chain management programs. So we have the unit head and the program coordinator online, and I'm going to hand over now to Ms. Carol Wedderburn as well as Dr. Charlotte Donalds, who are going to take you through the rest of this evening. I just want to remind persons that we have a Q&A feature in our webinar today. So if you have questions, even during the presentations, if you have questions, you can post them in the Q&A. Someone will respond to you, but we'll also go through the questions in the Q&A segment of this evening's proceedings so that persons can hear the questions and hear the responses. And then once we're complete with that, hopefully you've gotten all the information that you need. Remember that this is being recorded, so even after this, if you want to replay it, go back through whatever information you heard, you'll get an opportunity as we will send you the link in a follow-up email. All right, so Dr. Donald and Carol, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Wedderburn White, and I am the program coordinator for both programs, the MSc Computer Based Management Information Systems and the MSc in Logistics and Supply Chain Management program. Now, these two programs, they're robust in nature, but the beauty about it is that there's value from beginning to end. As Camille mentioned, Dr. Donalds is on board. Dr. Donalds is the unit head for decision sciences and information systems, and she has oversight of both the programs. I also want to introduce Miss Merlin Reed, and Miss Reed is Director of Finance. So she's here to answer all the finance related questions, the tuition related questions, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have a lot. Now, in the interest of time, we have 1 hour. And so we are going to head into the program overview to be done by Dr. Donalds. So we hand over to you, Dr. Donalds.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Wedderburn. Just give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to welcome everyone and thank you for your attention this evening. And just give me a minute. Yes, I want to share screen and just place the presentation up online. So again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. Thank you again. And I know this evening, you being here is definitely an investment in your future. But the fact that you're here tells me something about your ambition. All right. As Carol indicated, I'm the unit head for Decision Sciences and Information Systems unit in the MSBM, under which the two programs that we're going to talk about for this evening. Now, this is not just an information session, ladies and gentlemen. I really want to have a conversation with you. All right. So I want, when you leave here, to be clear as to what we offer at the MSBM, what we expect, and why the MSBM is the right home for the next chapter in your career. All right, so whether you're here seriously considering applying by the end of this cycle, March 31st or thereabouts, or you're still weighing your options, that's fine. But by the end of this talk, I believe that your decision will be a lot easier. So, but before I talk about the programs themselves, it would be remiss of me not to let you get some information or give you some context about the institution that you're joining. So the MSBM is not just a business school, ladies and gentlemen. It is the premier business school in the Caribbean. And that's not just a marketing line. And I don't say this glibly, and not because I am an employee of the business school as well as a graduate of the university. But this is really backed by rankings and recognitions that I will show you in momentarily. And I am proud to say that many of our graduates have gone on to lead organizations. You know, anybody called Audrey Togwell Henrich, and there are many others. We shape policies. We drive development in the locally, in the Caribbean, and I dare say internationally. So when you earn a degree from MSBM, you join a network of professionals who are actively changing the region. All right. So our graduates are ready and able to make impactful contributions to their organizations, to the wider society at large. Right. We not just graduate employees, but change agents. All right. So let me show you where we sit, both physically and in terms of our standing as an institution. So the MSBM is a part of the University of the West Indies community. And the UWI is a regional institution which is the prestigious university in the Caribbean with a rich history and strong legacy dating back to 1948. So being part of the UWI, ladies and gentlemen, the MSBM, right? Your degree carries weight and recognition from and it's institutionally recognized. All right. So, and of course, anybody coming on campus know that the campus is a beautiful campus. We have, a lot of great facilities, and the community is one of warmth and so ladies and gentlemen, being a part of the MSBM and being a part of UWI is a great thing. All right. Our mission, as you see there, on the screen is to be an excellent, globally recognized business school rooted in the Caribbean. And of course, our core values are presented also on screen, and we take these very seriously: integrity, innovation, excellence, transparency, civic responsibility. And at that, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just a matter of pride for me, but the MSBM is formally recognized, and I want to tell you a little bit more about the MSBM. So let's go on, and about our rankings and accreditation. So as you see on the slide, we hold multiple international accreditations and rankings. What you see on the slide, ladies and gentlemen, represents years of rigorous review and demonstrated excellence. These logos are not just decorative. We just, put something up just, to look pretty. But no, each one represents a standard we are held to and that we consistently meet. What does this mean for you, the prospective student? Your degree is recognized internationally, whether you go to work in the Caribbean, North America, Europe, or beyond. The employers actually recognize these symbols, these marks. So accreditation also means our curriculum is continually reviewed and updated to meet global standards. Beyond formal accreditations, MSBM has also built a track record of achievements and recognition over the years. Let me walk you through some of those. Now, our philosophy really, or one of our mantra is forward thinking. Right? So what does this mean? It means that we prepare you for what's coming next. We are not really rooted in the past, although the past also shapes the future, but we are also looking ahead. So the world is always changing, right? And it's changing rapidly. Just think about it. AI, digitization, supply chain disruptions, information security challenges. So the MSBM programs are designed to keep you at the forefront of these changes, not chasing them. So our faculty are practitioners and researchers who bring real world relevance into every classroom. So forward thinking also means we think about your career beyond graduation. Our programs are designed with employability and leadership in mind. So part of being forward thinking is being recognized by the right people. So here's how MSBM has been acknowledged on the world stage. No, go back, please. So over the years, the MSBM growth and academic achievements have been recognized by prestigious global bodies, including the World Economic Forum. And of course, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we have also won many awards, such as in 2014, the award Best Chamber in the Small Enterprise category by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. You see in 2015, we were one of the top 3 winners in the Project Management of the Year, and we placed second in terms of the Project Management Institute in terms of excellence. So, ladies and gentlemen, being recognized at this level places MSBM in the company of institutions from across the globe that are setting standards in business education. This recognition validates what our students and alumni already know, that the education and experience at MSBM is world class. So MSBM is not just about degrees. We're also a hub for the professional development, ladies and gentlemen. So let me tell you a little bit about our professional services unit. Go ahead, next slide. Okay. So the PSU, as we affectionately call the professional services unit, is an important part of the MSBM ecosystem. It offers short courses and training for professionals who want to upskill without committing to a full degree at this time. So for those of you who may not yet be ready to apply to our master's program, or you want to build up your skills before entering the MSc, the PSU is a great entry point. Courses covers areas such as in leadership, management, project management, security, and many others. These courses are, of course, practical, professional, and delivered by not just MSBM faculty, but leader, expertise in the environment or in our community. So the PSU Also means that even after graduating, ladies and gentlemen, MSBM continues to be a resource for your professional growth. And our PSU doesn't operate in isolation. It's backed by strong international partners. Here's who we work with. Great. So as you see, some of these institutions are displayed on the screen: the Project Management Institute, the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals. These are some of our partners. And these partners, of course, open doors to our students. There are guest lecturers up sometimes. We have the opportunity to collaborate on several projects. We get exposure to global best practices and, in some cases, pathways to international certifications. So when you study at the MSBM, your network extends beyond Jamaica and the Caribbean. You are connected to a global community of professionals. The PSU also offers what we call the management consultancy services. And what does this mean? It means that we work closely and or directly with the private and the public sectors. And also, this also impacts our teaching, which is also grounded in real organizational challenges. I'm going to switch hats a little bit. One of our most consistent international recognitions comes from EdUniversal. So let's talk a little bit about that ranking. Next slide, please. Oops, okay, I changed this wrong. Go back again. Go one more. I changed this in my presentation. Right. So here we are. So since 2008, ladies and gentlemen, MSBM has been consistently ranked by EdUniversal, one of the leading independent ranking bodies for business schools worldwide. And we rank among the top 1,000 business schools globally. Little, but with Talawa, ladies and gentlemen. Not just Jamaica, but the MSBM. And in the 2025 rankings, five of our graduate programs rank among the top master's programs. That's not a one-time achievement, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you so much. I saw that. Thank you. It reflects sustained excellence. This matters to you because employers recognize these rankings. It signals quality to any organization that reviews your credentials. So now that you know where you'll be studying, let's talk about what you need to get in. And then I'll get into the programs in greater detail. So to get into our programs, you will need a BSc, a first degree, with a GPA of at least 2.5 or greater. All right? But that's not to say that if you have a degree with a GPA less than 2.5 that you can't get in. But no, we have to take other things into consideration, such as your work experience. So you would need at least 2 years work experience. And we often also ask you to upload your resume. Now, this resume, of course, you want to highlight your work experience because, we're considering other things other than if you do not have the GPA requirement. And if you have any additional qualifications in the area or in any other related discipline, then we want your resume to highlight these as well. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize in our society that not everyone, takes a traditional route and go, first degree, now going to masters and so on. But you have individuals that have worked a significant part of their lifetime and they have risen in level to managerial positions, supervisory positions, and so on. And so we do have some spaces for what we deem or, the mature applicant. So oftentimes these applicants do not have a first degree, but they have wealth of knowledge and experience in their areas. So individuals like these should have at least 10 years working experience in a related area or field, could have additional professional qualifications. And of course, for when you do not meet the 2.5 GPA requirement, you may be asked to come in and be interviewed. And based on all of these factors, we make a recommendation. We do not accept students into programs, but the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, they make the offer to enter a graduate program into the University of the West Indies as well as the MSBM. All right, so can we go to the next slide? So I want to talk a little bit now about, get into a deep dive about the Logistics and Supply Chain Management Program. So this program was designed for professionals who want to operate at the strategic level of one of the most critical functions in any business: how goods, services, and information move from origin to destination. Supply chain is not a backroom function anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's front page news. One thing that COVID-19 has taught us, right, is that the world, it teaches us how fragile the world is and how vital supply chains really are. So organizations are desperate for professionals who truly understands this space. So the MSc equips you with both the technical tools and the strategic mindset to manage and optimize complex supply chains. This is the right program if you are working in or aspiring to work in logistics, procurement, operations, trade, or supply chain management in any sector. Careers that this program leads to include supply chain manager, procurement officer, operations manager, logistics consultant, trade analyst, and many more. So let's look at how the program is structured in terms of time commitment. Next slide, please. So the MSc is a part-time program, and the duration is over 24 months. It is not a full-time program, but a part-time program. All right, so it is designed specifically for working professionals. Classes are held on Sundays, ladies and gentlemen, only from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sometimes there's some variability. We may start earlier, so students can end earlier. But of course, usually this is negotiated between lecturers and students. All right, so this 1 day a week is significant but manageable, right? For those of you who have other responsibilities. All right, so it's designed, the schedule, it's intentional. All right, so we know our students are professionals and we have structured a program so you can keep working while you advance your qualifications. So 24 months goes quickly when you are engaged. So let's talk a little bit about, get more into how the 24 months is structured. So it starts in September. So the next cohort will commence September 2026. And of course, the application deadline is March 31st, 2026. So you are required in this program to do 11 core courses and of course a final project. Once you have successfully completed all of these, you will earn a maximum of 36 credits. Let's talk a little bit more now about these courses. Next slide. So the courses include, and I'm not going to read all of them, they're there, but just to give you a synopsis, you will be required to do business analytics, inventory management, supply chain simulation and modeling, logistics, supply chain management, and sustainability. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you have in the middle there the final project, which is really a capstone project of the program. And it involves, of course, drawing on knowledge that you would have earned or gained from many different courses in the course. Typically, students will be asked to identify a problem in an organization, a supply chain management problem or a logistic challenge, and you will design a project that will bring a solution to that particular challenge. Now, there are many organizations that our students have gone into. I'm just going to name one, like Sepron, and they have been blown away by some of the projects that the students actually come up with and the solutions, right? And when we have our final presentations, we invite industry members to sit in, and they are normally wowed, and sometimes they even ask the students to continue their work in the company. So this is really great. And, it demonstrates, ladies and gentlemen, your ability to solve real world problems. So that combination is extremely powerful. So this is a portfolio item for you. So when you're going out there for your job, of course, these are highlights that you want to bring forward. All right, so that's really about the final project. So I'm going to move on now to the second program, the CBMIS. So the CBMIS is one of the MSBM flagship programs. So it sits at an intersection of technology and management, which is precisely where the most exciting and well compensated careers are today. Now, you can tell that I'm very excited about this program, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? I am a graduate of the CBMIS program. I am just so proud to say. So this program is very near and dear to my own heart. All right. All right. So the CBMS graduates are uniquely positioned. They speak both languages, technology, and business. That makes them invaluable. This is the program for aspiring IT managers, CIOs, business analysts, systems consultants, digital transformation leaders. All right, so let me tell you a little bit more in terms of what the program, what you really how you benefit from the program. So some of the outcomes include, so let's look at it. How information systems change organizations. You will understand how to use IS not just operationally, but strategically to create competitive advantage. This is C-suite thinking, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we bring in terms of this course. Principles of management, because great technologists who can't manage people or projects often plateau. CBMS gives you that foundation. Managing the development of computer-based systems. You get practical skills in how to plan, build, and deploy technology solutions within an organization. Also, advances in IT. I mean, you couldn't do this particular program, right, and not understand, or we bring to the fore currency in terms of what's happening in the world today. So this is not in terms of technology, right? So this is not a purely technical degree, and it's not a generic management degree either. It is a carefully designed hybrid that the market needs and rewards. So let's look at how the CBMIS program is structured in terms of scheduling. Next slide, please. So, like the supply chain management program, it's a 24-month course or program rather. Classes, the class meeting though is a little bit different. So you actually meet 3 times a week for the CBMIS. You meet 2 evenings from 5:30 p.m. to 9. It could be Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday, and also on Saturdays, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. There is no full-time program. It is a part-time program because, of course, it is designed with you in mind, the busy professional. All right, so see how are the 24 months laid out across the curriculum? Next slide. So again, it also commences in September. So September 2026 is the incoming cohort of the next next offering. And you are required to do 15 core courses and also a final project. So for this particular master's, you will earn a maximum of 48 credits. So that's why you actually meet more regularly, because within that 24-hour month period, you actually are required to sit more courses. All right, let's go on. Next slide, please. All right, so these are some of the courses, right? So it covers both business and technology comprehensively courses. And I'm just going to highlight a few. They're all there on the screen for you to read, and of course in our handbooks. You have information systems in organizations, and this really is a strategic foundation. IT project management, business intelligence, IT security, e-commerce and decision support system, finance and operations management. These are some of the courses in the CBMIS. This is a curriculum that was designed by looking at what organizations actually need and building a degree around that. And just like the supply chain management program, the CBMIS has a capstone final project. And this project, ladies and gentlemen, requires you to be innovative and to come up with a real solution or a prototype of a real world business problem. So of course you would have to create, like, for example, a business plan, as well as a technical prototype, to solve the particular business need or business problem that you have identified. Next slide. All right. So I just spoke about the final project. So yeah, we can move on. So how do you actually apply? Let's talk about that. So you go to the MSBM website. All right. All information is there on the portal. You complete your application online. Of course, you submit your supporting documents, and all of this you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, by March 31st, 2026. It's just around the corner. You don't want to wait until the night before or the day before. So I'm going to encourage you to, not let this deadline sneak up on you, because I know we're Jamaicans. When we're ready, we procrastinate, we put things off, right? So I just want to encourage us, right, to submit our documents and start the process now. Next slide. And to begin that, ladies and gentlemen, we're making it so much easier for you. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and I'm going to say to you, take your phone out and you're going to scan this QR code that is on the screen. Yes, scan it. And this will take you directly to the document submission portal. No need to remember any long URL. The QR code is right there. All right. If you do nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave here this evening, I want you to scan that code and to bookmark that page. If you do nothing else, all applications are done online. You want to submit all your documents digitally. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll answer your questions at the very end. I hope you have gotten that. So connect with us, ladies and gentlemen, on social media. We have a strong social media presence. And of course, you will see all our handles there. All right, it's available. We use social media actively. If you have questions, reach out to us, even on social media. If you want to see what student life looks like, it's all there. Share the specific, right? So that brings us to the end of this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. But before I go, I just want to reiterate, and I want to say thank you again for your attention today. We covered a lot. We talked about MSBM standing, our rankings and accreditations, and we took a deep dive into both the both MSCs, Logistics and Supply Chain Management, and the CBMIS. The goal here, ladies and gentlemen, is to give you a real picture of what these program offers, not just what they look like on paper, but what they can do for your career. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours. Questions and answers. Thank you so much for listening to me this evening. Thank you. Camille, over to you. And Mrs. Wedderburn.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. Excellent presentation. I also want to add the other facilities that we may have as a business school. We have what is called the leadership program offered by the University of Buffalo, and students are actually chosen. And the students, it's in addition to the Jamaican students, you have students from all over the world, and it is first class, and you get a certificate at the end, right? In addition, we have conferences from time to time. Offices or companies may have conferences, and they invite our students to come in. So it is not just about the academics. We offer so much more that can benefit the students holistically. Now, if there are any questions, please, you're on the floor.
Carol, just start with the questions that were asked in the Q&A. That's where the questions will be posed. Before you do though, I see a hand up. Gabriel Amir. Gabriel, we are trying to encourage persons to put the questions in the Q&A. Okay, I see the hand is down now. All right, so let's go with the questions that are in the Q&A, Carol.
Okay, so the first question is, I did not formally submit a deferral. Okay, well, the student said she's a specially admitted student and she actually deferred. No, normally if you defer the program, you normally have to write a letter to say that you're deferring. The student has said, this person has said that she has not. So I'm going to advise her to reach out to the Office of Graduate Studies and they will guide you regarding that. No, there's another question, the cost of the CBMIS program. I don't know if Miss Reed will take that.
Yes, Carol, I will. 1 second, please. So the CBMIS for the upcoming academic year, 26-27 is US $11,000, and students are allowed to pay in both US and Jamaican currency. We accept both. And that's the program cost, so it covers your program over the 2 years.
Thank you, Ms. Reed.
And in addition, just adding, Carol, sorry about that, that in addition to the program cost, there is a miscellaneous fee that all students entering the university are required to pay. The amount usually change at the beginning of each academic year. For the academic year 25-26, the amount was just over $45,000. So we're not sure yet what it would be for 26-27, but we would advise students early enough before registration and so forth.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. There's a question about the engineering, but then there's also a question about scholarships or grant opportunities, if there are any available. Can you take that as well, Ms. Reed?
Okay, so we do not have, the school do not have any grant. We have for either the CBMIS or logistics program. Currently on the books. We do have some scholarships, but they are very specific based on the donors, and therefore accounting and corporate finance. That's what we have currently. But we are still seeking to get more, and I'm sure in time we will have some more for the other programs.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Now there's a question, do you need an engineering degree to apply for the MSc Logistics program? Dr. Donald?
No, you don't. Not at all. If you have an engineering degree, that would be great. But most of the degrees that we offer at the University of the West Indies and other universities too, at UTech, CMU, as long as your GPA is 2.5 or higher, then you are duly considered. All right. So we teach you all that you need to get through that program. So you don't have to have or must have an engineering degree. But if you do, that's not a problem.
Thank you, Dr. Donald. Now we have a question. If I work full-time, how will I complete the project? Does this require me to spend some time in a company? And this relates to the logistics program. In answering this question, no, for the projects, the research projects, you're required to work on it outside of work hours. And you're required to meet and liaise with the company outside of work hours. In terms of the presentations, you may have to do it during the day, as well as it may be done in the evenings. But most likely, your full-time job will not be interrupted by the research projects. Are there any other questions? Just to add, until persons start asking additional questions for the CBMIS program, for persons coming in this year, your class times would be Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So what we do, we alternate based on the year groups. So there's the year one, the current year one group is actually doing Tuesday, Thursdays, and on Saturdays. So the new incoming group will be doing Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And I see Camille is responding to the question by Brittany asking about the recording. And I believe that the recording is available, will be made available.
Yeah, so once you are here, you have registered, then all registrants will receive the recording. So I just want to add that. You're a quiet bunch. You're not yet students, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be this quiet. Please ask your questions.
So while we're on I will just expound, while we're on the topic of, in terms of discussing the programs and the value added and the benefits of the program, let me just share that I believe 2 years ago, the logistics group got the opportunity to do a tour of the one of the logistics, could you help me, Dr. Donalds?
You mean one of the logistics hub, the port?
The port.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
not 2
one of
years
the
ago. It
ports.
was earlier
It was
this year.
last year.
No, it's
Yes.
earlier this year.
And they actually had the opportunity to tour a ship, one of the
Yes.
cargo ships.
Yes.
And I was told that it was an excellent experience. Excellent. So these are some of the benefits that you get when you come on board, when you do the program with us. It is not just the academics, right? And in addition, there are courses where you are allowed to write articles for the Gleaner. And I know there's a particular course, logistics and supply chain management. And the lecturer, Mr. Ainsley Brown, sometimes students are unwilling, but he forces persons to write the groups to write the articles. And surprisingly, not surprisingly, a lot of the articles get published in the paper, right? So, there is bragging rights in doing the courses and seeing your name, seeing your group, seeing the articles being published. Now, there's a question. Two questions. When will early Camille, you're dealing with that? Can the referee report be submitted by the applicant via email? Yes, it can.
Actually, no, Carol. I wasn't gonna deal with that. I was closing out of it but answer this question first, and then we can go back to the other one.
The referee report?
Yes, answer the referee report question
Yes,
first,
they
and
can
go
be.
back to the other.
They can be submitted via email. I don't know if Camille has the email address.
I posted the email address to where supporting documents can be sent to. There are two addresses. They have been posted in the chat.
Can I just weigh in a little bit here though? So ladies and gentlemen, so while you can email your like for example your references and other supporting documents, I'm just going to make a plug here because the department really is the first to review your applications. But before it comes to us, graduates of the Office of Graduate Studies and Research has to have all the documents before your application is deemed to be complete and ready for review. So if you mail it and they are not in receipt of the documents, then it is not marked, complete and ready for review. So it does not come to the department to be reviewed. And so there might be a delay in processing your applications. So I am just putting a plug to say, go online, put as many of the required documents online as opposed to emailing, because once you upload it, it goes directly to your application and it can then be marked as complete and ready for review and be reviewed more timely. So I just want to highlight that, because sometimes people say they've made the application and they can't hear from the university. But if graduate studies is not in receipt of all the required documents, it will not be the application will not move forward. It's a workflow process. It will not move forward until all your required documents have been received by that office. So I'm just making that plug.
In the same breath, Dr. Donald, the previous question was if early applicants will be aware of the decision on the application.
Yeah, once you have applied, even now, so we are, and the graduate studies, we are all jointly reviewing applications at this time. So persons would probably have begun to hear, or would have been getting information or, a letter from the graduate studies and research about their application. So that process would have commenced, and I'm sure others, persons have already are already in receipt of decisions made by the Office of Graduate Studies and Research.
In addition, Dr. Donald, so what Dr. Donald said about the uploading of applications, of documents, I believe your transcript, if you're not a UE student, your transcript, you cannot upload your transcript. You have to ask the institution to send it directly to the Mona School of Business and Management or the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. I think that there are times when applicants will upload their transcript and they believe that they're uploaded everything, and they're not being processed, and it is because the transcript UE requires the original transcript, and it cannot be
Official,
uploaded.
right. It's an official transcript that is required, and that is an institution to institution process. It is not an unofficial transcript that you download from your university, to see your grades and so on. That is unofficial. That's not the one that university accepts. And by the way, this is not a UE thing. This is a worldwide thing, right? When our students are applying to universities overseas, we have to send their transcript to the institution. They don't get the transcript to deliver. So, and that's just how it works. So, thank you for that, as well, Carol. You're absolutely right on that.
And in addition, the student applicants, you need to follow up on the request for transcripts. We know it takes long, but sometimes things fall by the wayside. So please ensure that you follow up. If it is that they say 6 weeks, call us to find out if we have received it, and if not, follow up with the institutions, please. Are there any other questions? Dr. Donalds, is there anything that you'd like to add that comes to mind?
Not quite. Really, I'm excited to welcome our new cohort in September.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward, for all those who are here this evening to really seriously contemplate and to, really join us. I know too, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, and you have asked about the fees, and maybe Miss Reed can also tell us, because sometimes, you might not be able to find the 11,000 US dollars all at once, but I know that you can pay by semester. Miss Reed can tell you a lot more, but just off the top of my head, and I know also that the MSBM has payment plans. You would need to come in to meet, to talk to, somebody from Miss Reed's office, and she can tell you a little bit more about that. So, we put things in place for you to be with us and to advance your own career. And the fact that you're here, you're really thinking about it. And, we try to put things in place to facilitate that. So, I don't know if you want to ask any question about that, or Miss Reed can expound some more on that.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. Just to say, yes, we at the school here, we are aware that students find it difficult sometimes to come up with these amounts that we requested.
at the end of payment periods, for example, at the end of a semester. So what we do, we offer some payment plans, not wide scale, but to say students would indicate by sending us an email to indicate that they want to use the payment plan at the beginning of their semester. And the semester, for example, the first semester will start in September, and they would indicate to us, and they would we would allow them to pay their tuition fee in three equal amounts starting September. So September, October, November. So that by the time they get down to sitting their exams at the end of the semester around the beginning of December, they would have cleared their semester one fee, and will continue just like that for the next semester onwards until the end of the program if they are so using the facility. So if they're using it for the year, they will tell us, or they're only using it for a semester. Again, we don't, students are allowed to pay. We have different payment methods, and students are allowed to pay their fees in any amount. We don't discriminate against any amount. So if you have $5,000 and you want to deposit on your tuition fee, go ahead. Because some of the time that's what we use to determine if we can extend a payment extension for a later date, etc. And we have always worked with our students in when we have in last semester when we had Melissa interrupting the whole country, we work with our students to sit their exam and extend the payment dates so that students who are already would have been affected by the hurricane were not further being disadvantaged as a result of not able to cover their fees on a specific time or within a specific time. So we work with our students and we continue to work with them. We know these are difficult times, there are challenges, there are the what ifs, we don't know what happens. You have your plans, you put your plans in place, but of course life happens and you have to make a decision. We also work with some financial institutions like the SLB and so forth who have some tuition packages for students, and students have been using that over the years and we work with them. So there are opportunities to work with the students. What we ask is that you plan early. That is always my little mantra to students to say, plan early. Start the planning for your tuition fee early. Don't wait until the last moment. If you know you're planning to take a loan, for example, a student's loan, then visit them early, get the information as to what is required from you, and then you can put things in place so that when you get down to do your exams, there's no need for you to be stressing yourself, worrying about, my school fee not paid and I may not be able to sit the exam. Because if you don't have financial clearance, then you won't be allowed into the exams rooms, and it will be difficult and heart-rending to know that students, you study, you sit through a semester, do your work, study, and at the end, you're not able to sit your exam for whatever reason. I know though that can be difficult. So start your planning early. If you, as I said, if you're going to use a loan facility, select the one you want to use early, work out whatever they require from you and within reasonable time so that you can get that behind you and now have the time to focus on your schoolwork and anything else you may have to do. All right. Hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Ms. Reed.
Okay, so we're coming down to closer to the end of this session. We have a few questions left in the Q&A. From Brittany, when can I expect acceptance letters if I submitted the application earlier this month? Also, will acceptance letters be issued after the deadline? And then Carol, you can take the other two questions. Well, no, Brittany was responding to the question about tuition. So Brittany Walker, that question I just asked, Carol, could you respond?
Thanks, Camille. I believe once you have accepted it, once you have submitted all your documents, and once it's ticked complete by the Office of Graduate Studies, then Dr. Donald will go in and she will process your application. Once an offer is placed on the system, and once all the parties have actually put in their decision, then Graduate Studies will send the information, or will send a letter. It can be a rejection letter, it can be an acceptance letter, and it can be after the deadline of March 31st. Dr. Donalds, do you have anything else to add?
Just to say that that process can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. Generally, we try to aim for that. Once the students have and the application is complete, we hope that the student will hear from us latest a month because, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we do not necessarily control the process. So it goes through graduate studies, the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, and there are many other eyes per se that actually peruses that particular application and signs off on it. And even if the department makes an offer or says, okay, we like this application or this applicant, and we think that this applicant should be offered, it doesn't necessarily get rubber stamped by the other bodies, right? So they look at it critically as well. And but at the end of the day, I want to also reiterate that it is the Office of Graduate Studies and Research that ultimately makes the offer, not the Mona School of Business and Management. So the offers come through and they have the final decision as it relates to who are offered. Okay. But like I said, 2 weeks, let's say 2 to 4 weeks for that entire process to start to end. And by hopefully that time, you will have some information or some indication from the OGSNR with regards to your particular application. And that certainly will come and can come after. So let's say you apply on March 30th, right? I mean, it would be very unlikely, very unusual for you to receive an indication by the 31st. So depending on where or what point in time you apply will then determine, when you receive some, you know, some indication as to, what's going on with your with your particular application. There's also sometimes students might not necessarily meet all the requirement and you don't necessarily come into the program straight away. You may be offered what is called a special admission. So that means that you are not really a part of the program, but you are asked to do two courses out of the program that you have applied for, and you have to pass those two courses with a B or higher, right? And then we write to the OGSR indicating that you have been successful and ask that you now matriculate into the particular MSc program. So it's almost like a testing. It's like a test drive. You get a car or you go out there and you see, you're not so sure yet. But that has nothing to do with us. That might be something that the OGSNR actually offers you, which you can accept or reject. But once you are successful, typically it is very, likely that you matriculate into the MSc program. So that's another route as well in terms of getting into the MS, and especially when you don't have the GPA requirement. I don't know. I've answered what was asked and more.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds.
Yeah.
We have two more questions. Question one: what happens if you start the course but have to physically migrate in the middle of the program? Can you continue online, or do you have to defer? Do you get credits for work completed? Dr. Donalds?
All right. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it has happened before. Unfortunately, our programs are face-based, face-to-face classes for the most part. We may have one or two classes that are offered online, but right now our programs are accredited for a face-to-face delivery. We have the other programs that are hybrid and some can be delivered online, but the logistics and supply chain and the CBMS, those are not these are face-to-face offerings. So if you leave or have to leave the program halfway, your credits are there, but they're not there into perpetuity. They last for perhaps a couple of years. And you would have to write for some leave of absence from the program. And after a couple of years, if you decide to come back and to complete the program, then you can write to the university and ask to restart your program and still keep the credits that you've already earned, right? And we have had cases like that after several years. And but then again, you have to go through everything goes through the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. And in conjunction with the department, a recommendation is made, right? So it can be done. Yes, you can receive credits, but you won't. If this is a MSc, if you do half the program, it doesn't mean that you get a certificate. All right, you don't. You will have those on your record, your student record, so you could always write the university and ask for some sort of transcript that would indicate that you have done these courses, but there is no, if you have completed, 6 out of 12, you get a certificate. There is no such arrangement with these courses. You have to complete all required courses successfully to be awarded the MSc.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. So we have 2 more questions. The questions are coming at the back end.
That's fine.
This question I joined. Okay. So the question is, the student is currently in his or her final semester, and they're wondering if the degree has to be awarded before they can apply.
Hmm?
So this,
yes. You're in your final semester. You can apply, but you will not be given an offer. Maybe what you will be given is a provisional offer.
correct.
And then when your degree is awarded, then your application can be reviewed. But please note though that we do not have a January intake. So if this is your final semester, right, September to December, we typically don't have a January intake. So you will still have to wait until September next year for these programs to gain entry.
Also, Dr. Donalds, if when your degree is awarded, you have to inform us. We won't know that your degree is awarded. So
Yes.
once it's awarded, you may be given a provisional offer, but once it's awarded, you advise us that the degree is awarded so that Dr. Donalds can actually go on the system, see the information, and proceed to fully process your application.
Yes, that's correct.
The other question, what days are the data analysis or the CBMIS program and the marketing classes? No, I think you're referring to the marketing and data analytics program. And I think you need to be clear on that. But for the marketing and data analytics program, it's offered on Sundays only. I think that is what the applicant or the individual is asking. If not, you can open your mic, I believe, and let us know if that is exactly what you're really asking.
Or if they're asking about the specific courses, because there's a business analytics course in the CBMIS and I believe also in supply chain.
There
But
is.
those courses will be offered on the days that the classes are being held, are scheduled to be held. So as Carol indicated, for those coming in this year for the CBMIS, it is Mondays and Wednesdays, right? And
Correct.
Saturdays. And the logistics and supply chain, all courses are held on a Sundays or
Correct.
on Sundays.
The question here is the MSc in data analytics
Okay. Great.
hybrid, and the answer is no. Can MSc students do student exchange? I am not aware of it. I don't know if Dr. Donalds knows something else.
No, not that I'm aware of. No, these courses are specific. They're specific to the programs. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but you would probably have to make that case and we would have to really seriously review the particular course to ensure that it is equivalent to say, yes, you could do this course elsewhere and still get credit for it here at the university. This is certainly done at the undergraduate level. We do have exchange programs, but it's not so prevalent at all at the master's level. So that's something that we would probably have to look at. But I'm not going to rule it out because there is a mechanism for it because it is done at the undergraduate level.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. So another question is, what times do classes normally start? Now, for the CBMIS program, it is generally 5:30 to 9 during the weekdays and 9 to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. With respect to the logistics programs, it generally is 10 to 5 p.m., but then there are times when, for whatever reason, the lecturer is not available to come 10 to 5, then they may come 8:30 or 9, but the students will be advised beforehand of the time change regarding the logistics program. What are the hours for the Sunday classes for the MSc in Marketing and Data Analytics? It's 10 to 5 p.m. And
I
the
just want to,
yes,
I just
Dr.
want to reiterate though that so when Carol says, the students will be advised, it's usually consultative. So the lecturer doesn't just
Correct.
change the time, right? I don't want you to feel like, we're just pushing something on you. But you normally have a good rapport with your lecturers and they say, okay, we're having a little challenge here and it's negotiated. So both parties tend to come together and make a decision and agree to if there's going to be any change. I just want to, make that absolutely clear.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. Another question, which MSc program is available? I'm assuming hybrid. Most of the programs, all of our programs are offered face-to-face.
No. You have the national security strategic, the NSS, the National Security Strategic Service Program. That is for mostly for the security forces. We do have a program like that, and that one is hybrid.
Is hybrid. Thank
Yes,
you.
that one is and mostly done online. And there are some face-to-face component, but it is hybrid. I believe there is the I think the taxation or some accounting. There is also an accounting one that was recently. I think it's still face to face, but to come shortly. It has been approved for hybrid as well. So we're getting there.
We also
But
have the MBA program that will have a hybrid or an online aspect to
component,
it.
right. So we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a process, yes? And it requires a lot of approvals through the university system. We just don't get up overnight and say we want to change. And you have to recognize too that there is the University Council of Jamaica that accredits our program. So we can't, once it is accredited for a particular modality in terms of delivery, we can't just get up and change that. We have to go through some formal processes and they're quite involved to change these and to maintain our accreditations from the University Council of Jamaica and elsewhere. So, it's not so easy per se because there are lots of things to go through, but we're getting there.
Thank you, Dr. Donalds. We are now at 12 minutes past the hour. And I'd like to, on behalf of the Bonner School of Business and Management, I'd like to thank all the persons who came on to the session. I believe that persons would have gotten a lot of information or additional information that will or should assist them in making an informed decision regarding the programs. If it is that you still need information, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. I'm Carol Wedderburn White. My email address is carol.wedderburn@uwi.edu, or you can simply call the switchboard and ask for Carol Wedderburn White. Now, thank you again for coming, and also thank you to the marketing unit as well as the tech support unit for supporting this session. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you and good night all. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Donalds, and thanks, Carol. Didn't really get a chance to let everybody else